Hey everyone, you are listening to the Drastic Measures live stream. I'm here with a guest. This is Perfect Dawah, and today we're going to be talking about the differences between his interpretations of Islam and some of the other popular YouTube Dawah personalities. So thank you for coming on, Perfect Dawah. Welcome to my channel.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm very delighted to be here and represent a different view of Islam. And yes, we can talk tonight about the differences between Islam. I'm just have to say that I'm not alone. Of course, I've said it many times. Everybody knows that we are a lot of people. And yes, our view, the difference between our views and these extremist, Muslims, or
Sure.
I can say so-called Muslims. Yeah.
Okay, right. Just to let everyone know, that the screen probably looks a bit odd because I've got two accounts up here. I'm not trying to gang up on Perfect Dawah here or anything. I've just I've got the problem that I had previously with a time lag, so I have to do this strange setup. But hopefully everybody in the chat can hear us okay. Perfect Dawah. So I'm going to call you by your name, Muji. For
Yeah, no problem. Yes. Okay.
Muji, do you want to start by maybe just giving a little bit of your background, how you became a Muslim, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Actually, I was born in a Muslim family, but at the age of 25, I started to think that is there any God? And after a few days, I decided that God doesn't exist because I was looking around to see evidence for God, and I couldn't find it. But I'm not going to offend anybody, any atheist. But I'm just talking about myself. Yeah, it was lack of knowledge that I had, not because the evidences were not there. I couldn't see them because I didn't have enough knowledge. So in the future.
Oh, sorry, Muji, I can't hear you. Have you muted yourself?
Okay, I heard myself talking.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. That's fine.
No, there's an echo.
Oh, right? Okay. Are people in the chat hearing an echo? Let us know if you can. Are you hearing an echo from me, Muji?
I hear a lot of noises, voices. I hear.
Okay, bear with me 1 second.
Yes.
Okay, has that improved it? Can you hear me?
Hello. Now I talk. Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me, or is it still echoing?
No. Sorry. When I say, yeah, no, drastic. When I talk to you, then I hear myself after a few seconds.
Ah, okay, right. So you're getting an echo of yourself. I mean, you're coming through fine to me. I can't hear any kind of echoes there. People in the chat are saying that there's.
And I hear your voice also, and I hear your voice also twice when you talk, and then again the echo comes after a few seconds.
Okay, all right. Sorry about this, folks. Just bear with me 1 minute. Let me see if I can do something to sort this out. Just 1 moment. Can you still hear me echoing?
Okay, now I think yes. Somebody wrote. I think yes. Now I understand the problem. I had the YouTube open as well. Sorry, Drastic. It was my fault. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
Look,
I had
it's
the
a live
YouTube
stream.
open.
These things happen. These things
Yes,
happen. It's no problem.
Sorry. Anyway, I was saying that yeah, after a few years when I learned different scientific facts, and I learned about different religions. So I started to realize I was wrong. And then, anyway, I don't want to go into that very much because I don't think it is the subject tonight. And so I realized that I was wrong. So I found Islam as the only solution to all our problems on this planet, the way out of the jungle we are living in. So I converted to Islam. That's
Okay.
a little bit about myself. Yeah.
Was your interpretation of Islam different to when you were younger and then when you came back to Islam? Did you have a different interpretation of the religion?
When I was, I mean, when I was young, before become atheist, I didn't know much about Islam, so I wasn't really. When people say that I'm an ex-Muslim because I was born in a Muslim family, I don't actually agree with them because I myself see myself as not being a Muslim that time because I didn't know it. I just was born into a Muslim family. And I didn't know much about it. I just knew about fasting, praying, basic things. So I didn't know anything about Islam, better say, just few things. And later I started to, when I became Muslim, I started to, understand a different Islam. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, the main reason that I wanted you to come on is, and I'll be very honest and upfront with you. I'm
Yeah.
very skeptical of
Yeah.
when people say that they are kind of a moderate Muslim. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't different interpretations of Islam. I fully accept that, and I don't say that if you don't have the kind of interpretation that somebody like Muhammad Hijab is, you're not a real Muslim. That's not something that I believe. But I have found in many of the conversations that I've had with kind of maybe more reformist or moderate Muslims, that when you start to dig down deep, the difference between them and somebody like Muhammad Hijab gets smaller and smaller. Now, to your credit, one of the reasons I invited you was that I saw you did a live stream with where Nadir Ahmed appeared. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was quite recently.
Yeah.
And I was pleased that I saw you challenging him on
Stoning adulterers.
Yeah. And
And he ran away.
to your credit, you actually called him out and you said, I think you're afraid to admit that you are for stoning, you are for this barbaric practice, and you called him out. And I thought I was very pleased because I rarely see things like that. The fact that you were willing to do that live on your YouTube stream, and you made him very uncomfortable. So I feel that said to me that you, whether I agree with the textual basis for your interpretation, you do seem sincere in wanting to challenge these kind of things by your own interpretation. And I also saw recently you tried to get onto Hamza's Den as well, and he blocked you from.
They have blocked me, all of them, in now several years. EF Dawah, this Dawah Wise, Hamza Din, he blocked me just a few days ago, of course. And I got on with another account, and the moment he realized it's me, he just removed me, and then he blocked me again.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look, let's yeah. So the reason I said that, because there will be people in the chat who are going to be skeptical that your position is really different to theirs. So I just wanted to give you the credit of saying, yes, I've certainly seen you challenge him on contentious issues like this, which is a good thing. I want to start by asking the larger overall question is, my biggest problem with Islam, if I had to pick one, was this insistence that you live by Sharia, this idea of an Islamic caliphate, that everything has to be Islamic law if you're Muslim majority. Now, what is your position on that? Do you feel that if it's a Muslim majority country, it would have to be living by some form of Sharia, or would you accept a democratic kind of secular system?
Okay. First of all, I don't believe in caliphate. I've been discussing some people who try to defend that sort of ruling. I asked him, is it possible to vote the caliphate out, and how often we can do that? So the moment I go to this question, they stop talking because they don't know what to say. Because if it is, you cannot vote out a caliphate, then it's dictatorship. Okay, and if you do that, if you can choose your caliphate every 4 years, that's republic. It's not caliphate anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, so I disagree with even republic. I believe in direct democracy, and the democracy that we have in the Western world today, or democratic world, is indirect democracy, because you choose your leaders every 4 years and you have no any influence on them. They can do whatever they want in 4 years. So I'm against even that democracy. I believe in direct democracy, which is you can change your leaders anytime you want.
Yeah.
And yes, and so caliphate in that view that they have, it's not a democratic system. And about Sharia law, I believe that Sharia law is absolutely based on no compulsion in religion. So you have no right to force anybody to anything, as long as they are not going to harm themselves or the society, of course. But anybody have the right to believe whatever they want, and they have the right to be chosen or choose anybody. So, and I've 44 years we are fighting against Iranian regime, and I'm supporting a Muslim organization as well, that we believe in such a system for future Iran. But we have also a belief that in the future, this is written in Quran, that finally everybody will follow this system. Sharia law is not in reality what these extremists they show. Sharia law is praying, fasting, and doing charity, and all these types of
That's like the 5 pillars, essentially, the 5 pillars of Islam.
there is, I have to say that there is no 5 pillars in Islam, because if there was, then what is it? Then Shia and Sunni, at least they had the same pillars of Islam, but they have different pillars of Islam. So these 5 pillars of Islam is just everybody believe in something. Okay,
but Muji, let me cut in there for a second, because this is already where I would start to worry a little bit. Is that
so
if let me just put this question to you: if you are a believer, as you say, in kind of a direct democracy, choosing your leaders, etc., why do you need Sharia at all?
Okay, look, the thing is that that's very deep now. First of all, as I said, there are types of Sharia law like that: praying, fasting, giving charity, taking care of people, and not harming innocent people. Don't lie. All these types of things that almost even atheist people, some atheists follow it. Except the praying and fasting. Yeah.
But let's okay. Sorry to interrupt, but let's move into other areas which might be more contentious, because I don't think any person who's a non-Muslim would have a problem with a Muslim praying, fasting, doing charity. But when it comes to things, let's take an example like blasphemy laws.
Okay.
Now
that's not absolutely. I'm absolutely against that. That's not Islamic. It goes against the basis of Islam, that says no compulsion in religion. Your religion is for you, my religion is for me. There is no such a law. It is fabricated hadiths. There are a bunch of blasphemy law is in North Korea as well. This is man-made laws. It is not divine laws. You say something against Karl Marx, I kill you.
This is what I'm saying. See, it's this kind of language that does slightly worry me, because as far as I'm concerned, in the kind of society that I'd want to live in, I'd want everybody to have the right to their religious beliefs, as long as it's not being imposed on others, as long as all the citizens have the same rights. With the right to freedom of speech, we have the right to even mock somebody else's religion, if that is the case. We don't have a system where one set of citizens has more rights than another. Now, these things are absolutely associated with the traditional understanding of Sharia, that Muslims are supposed to be on the top with superior rights. You have dhimmis, or people are forced to convert, or they're basically killed, or they're driven out of the land. Now, if you were in a country which was Muslim majority, would you fight against any attempt to impose a system where you're going to have Muslims with superior rights to non-Muslims?
Okay. I said it from beginning that I follow an organization. We have lost over 100,000 our followers and members. One of them, my brother. We have been fighting against Iranian ISIS fascist regime. The first one who went against the compulsory hijab in was 1980.
Yeah.
1980, yeah. The first organization that went against that was my organization, because we said you have no right to force hijab on people. And we have been fighting them. We have lost so many. And that, of
Yeah.
course, there is somebody in the chat says that, yeah, like Jazia. Okay. I would like to address such a things as well, that they understand that
But
this
could I
is,
just just drill down on this, because it
yeah,
is really important to certainly for
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Would you oppose any system that tries to give Muslims more rights than non-Muslims in a Muslim majority country?
Yes. I have to, can I share with you something, please, before I go on? Okay.
Yeah,
Just a moment. I want
go
to
ahead.
share with you. Yes. Let me, okay,
Or you're looking
here.
to share a document or something on the screen, or
No, it is just here. Do you see this,
yeah.
this picture? Yes.
One moment,
Okay.
I can put it up. One moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, so it should be up on the screen now.
Okay. This is a small city now in Albania. They were based in Iraq. This is my organization, and there are several thousand members now in Albania. And Iranian regime has been trying to destroy them. They are the biggest enemy of Iranian regime. Men and women are absolutely equal there. Women have more rights than men in this organization, because we believe that women have been oppressed in thousands of years. So we have to give
Sure.
them a good opportunity that they show themselves. So we have put them. You see, these are women. Also, they are Muslim women with
No,
hijab.
that's good. No, Muji, I commend the work your organisation is doing, but I would like to get an answer to the question though. Would you
Yes, yes, I
oppose?
said it. Yes, yes, I said that. I showed you the organization so that you know that we have the 10-point plans. We have a elected president, and in that 10-point plans, it says a secular democratic republic Iran. Okay, and now we are gathering support. Just today, I read that 200 French parliamentarian have supported this organization and its plans for future Iran, that we are against both dictatorship, the former dictatorship and the current dictatorship, and we believe that no one has the minimum extra right to other one because of religion, because of,
Okay,
for example,
good.
we are against monarchy, because we say that you cannot have extra privilege because of your family ties. Yeah, so everybody
Okay.
are equal,
No,
whatever you
that
believe in.
sounds great. That sounds great,
Yes.
and I appreciate you. Okay, so you would you would not favour anyone having more rights over anyone else based on religion. So that's great
No,
to hear. I appreciate that.
absolutely not. Yeah.
That's good. What I'm going to ask now is again, and I hope you don't. I'm not meaning to sound offensive or anything like that,
No, no, don't worry. I know. I
um,
understand you. Don't
but
worry.
what I
Yeah.
want to ask is when I look at all the YouTubers who are popular,
Yes.
Mohammed Hijab, Ali
Unfortunately.
Dawa, these people have hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers,
Yes.
and then
Unfortunately. Yeah.
yes, I
Unfortunately.
agree. I know I agree with you there. And then I look at somebody like you, who your version of Islam is far more palatable to someone like myself. And I see you've got maybe 500 or 600 subscribers. Right.
Yes.
Why is there such an imbalance? If your version is correct, why are these so popular? Why do the majority of Muslims go to these guys and not to you?
All right. That's why they block me. That's why they remove me, because they don't want that people hear me. If they hear me, then they start to think that they are wrong, and Perfect Dawah is right. So they will come to me, and they will, because one of them was saying that Perfect Dawah is very, very what is it? Dangerous, of course, yeah, because a woman had called them and said that I believe that Perfect Dawah is right about polygamy, for example, because
Sure.
I'm against polygamy as well. So anyway, they were saying that he, and some of them say that I spread fitna. Fitna is in Islamic term is some kind of how do you call it, a doubt. Yeah, doubt among
No, I'm
people.
aware of the term.
Yes.
But Mujib, sorry, just to stop you 1 second. I'm just to respond to the chat. We will get into some questions about how Mujib got to his interpretations, the theological basis at a later point. But and obviously, please, anyone who wants to ask questions or put points in the chat, please do. We will get to them later on in the discussion. But yeah, but Mujib, I suppose the thing I'm getting at is whether you're blocked or not, that doesn't affect the numbers. The point is, somebody like Ali Darwa's got 1 million subscribers, over 1 million people, over 1 million Muslims think that his way of looking at it is the correct way, compared to, say, and it's not just you. I mean, when I've looked at other Muslims who have claimed to be moderate reformists, not non kind of extremist types, like the Impactful Scholar, for example. I don't know if you're aware of him, but he's got maybe 3,500 subscribers. These are the kind of numbers. We're talking hundreds or thousands for guys like you, and we're talking hundreds of thousands or millions for the very people that we're worried about. So why is it? It's not just down to you being blocked. Why is there such an imbalance? Why are those so popular?
All right. Maybe, I don't know, actually, maybe they have started long before. I don't know how long ago. I just really myself, I have started to be very active almost a year ago. Before I wasn't like this active. I was more active on Facebook. Yeah. Then I shifted to YouTube. And it is kind of a year that I have been more active. And I don't have the money to advertise or such a things, understand? So I just take it as it is. So perhaps they have other methods. I don't know what they do. Maybe they put short videos and such a things. I don't know.
Well, again, I suppose the point again, I'm not trying to say that you're not working as hard as them or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, to me, the clear answer would be is that most Muslims agree with their interpretation and not your interpretation. That would seem to be the logical reason why they can build a subscriber base so easily.
Yeah.
Whereas
another thing is that what is it? They see that they are famous, so they subscribe anyway, But another something else also is that most of these people, they don't know themselves, They don't read Quran, and they don't think critically, Because I have been thinking critically even about Islam, that, for example, about Satan, that why God created Satan, such a power that fool everybody, and we don't see him, okay? But yet I'm going to be punished because Satan fooled me, okay? With that critical thinking, I came to a good conclusion that Satan is not created by God. Satan is a system that we are living in, the jungle system that allows people to kill millions of people and become richer and richer. So these things started, I was thinking, many people, they don't just think, it is maybe difficult for them, or they don't just care. So for them, easy to follow a scholar, because this scholar has a 1 meter long beard, okay?
Well, see, I mean, with the best will in the world, I still think that the reason they are so popular is because most Muslims do think that they have the correct interpretation of the religion. Now, whether you want to argue that point or not, I'm not saying that you don't have the correct interpretation, but what I am saying is that most Muslims, if we had 100 Muslims in a room, 99 of them are going to be closer to Ali Darwa, and maybe one will be closer to somebody like you. And if you have the correct interpretation, and it's not just today, because if you look, I mean, bear in mind, most of the time when they're looking, they're giving their interpretations, they are quoting classical Islamic literature, the tafsirs, the hadiths, and that kind of thing, which generally does support their version of things. Now, I know you can cherry pick with hadiths and you can discard some, etc., but it seems that for 1400 years, generally speaking, most Muslims follow their interpretation. And if this is a book that's easy to understand, how comes all these Muslims throughout 1400 years are getting it all wrong, and you've managed to get it right?
Okay, as I said, first of all, I'm not the only one. We are
but you're a minority.
Yes, okay, we are minority. Yes. Another, yes, we are minority. But the thing is that my brother, okay, please understand this. I have said it many times. If I was today born and raised in a village in Afghanistan, and I didn't have internet or anything, I didn't have this opportunity to go around the world and learn, I would also be a Taliban and chant Allahu Akbar and perhaps blow up myself, among disbelievers, kafir,
Sure,
So I
sure.
would also be one of them. But why now is because we have this technique. For example, I can now through internet contact my brother Rashid. Okay, he's living in Denmark, and we discuss with each other, and then he says something, and I analyze it and say, "Oh yeah, you are right." Okay, so brother Rashid, for example, is an Arab speaker, and we discuss with each other. I can give you a good example. For example, chapter 5, verse 38. Yeah,
Yeah,
about cutting hands of thieves. Okay,
yeah.
uh, so
Well,
this is
sorry,
absolutely,
Muji,
yeah,
sorry. I mean, we can certainly talk about that. We will get to
yeah,
that.
okay, okay.
I just want to bring us back to the initial question of, because you're talking about, okay, well, if I was a poor person in Afghanistan without modern education, that kind of thing. Yeah, I do agree that those kind of economic circumstances do contribute to
Yeah,
people making the kind of choices where they go out and kill someone, stuff like that. I do recognize that as a factor, but you probably have just as much extremism, if not more, within Western countries where Muslims have grown up with all the comforts of a Western society, many of them good education, university education, and they're still drawn. I'll give you an example. I think it was the end of last year, at the start of this year, there was a selection of Muslim student associations in the Republic of Ireland. Okay,
hmm,
they have 5 or 6 major universities. They got together and they invited Mohammed Hijab to come and do a talk. And the reason why, because he was the most requested guest
hmm,
by these Muslim university students. Now, these are not people in poverty. These are people who are at the upper echelon. They're intelligent. They're getting a university education. And yet the most popular requested guest was Mohammed Hijab. So how do
okay,
you square that with this
all right.
idea that it's down to, poverty and stuff?
Okay, yeah. As I said that as well, that in the past people didn't have education, so we had a lot of scholars who were fooling people, and this has unfortunately has been continuing until today. But we are waking up. I understand that it is, yes, still some people, yes, a lot of people still continuing on their path, because they say, oh, Bukhari, woo, because everybody talk about Bukhari as he is Imam Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, yeah. But this is the time. That's why, look, my brother, that's why they block me, because they cannot defend their position against me. Okay, if I open my mouth, the people, if people hear me, people, their followers, then they realize that these people, they cannot, like you saw yourself, Nader couldn't defend. There was another guy,
I agree
this
with you. I agree with you.
Muslim apologist, yeah, Muslim apologist also called on my channel, and every time I was asking him about these stoning adulterers, he was running away. He was saying, no, I'm not here to discuss
Sure.
that. So that's why they don't want to discuss such a
No,
things.
no, but Muji, I
Yeah,
agree with that, and again, I commend your efforts to challenge them on these things. But
yes,
my larger question here, my larger concern is the fact that
mm,
you have all these troubles in the first place, and as far as I
yeah,
can see, is because whether Muslims are rich, poor, educated, uneducated, an enormous number are attracted to the kind of interpretation that Mohammed Hijab or a Daniel Hakikatu will throw out there. And this is what
yes,
concerns me. This is not
yeah.
just about them blocking you. This is because I think most Muslims interpret it in the classical Orthodox way that they do.
Okay, I say that they are quite, perhaps such a people are very traditional. Okay, they are afraid, perhaps. Okay, so they are not somebody who doubting. Okay, somebody who is open-minded. I better say like this: open-minded to challenge the religion. They just say, oh, it's a blasphemy that if I question something. Perhaps it is that one. That I cannot say 100% sure. But the thing is that there are two different interpretations of Quran and Hadith or whatever. and we are. I know that we are in minority, but I know according Quran as well. Quran promises us that we will be the majority, and we will, the entire planet will be ruled by righteous people. God's righteous people. So there will come a day that peaceful people, the planet will be filled with peace and justice and love. Okay, so this is what I
Sure.
believe. Yes.
That's a nice vision, and I would hope that would be the case too. But I will
Yes.
be brutally honest here. I cannot see that
Okay.
ever happening under Islam. I mean, even if you were to be able to persuade more Muslims to see things your way, I just
Hmm.
think there is so much within the text that needs to
Okay.
be danced around, that needs to be reinterpreted. I mean,
Okay.
let's start with the hadiths on this. How do you see the hadiths? Do you reject them all? Do you accept some, and on
No.
what
Okay.
basis?
No, I have said it many times. I have had as well debate with Quranists who reject all hadiths. Okay, they are on my channel as well. At least two debates I have had with Quranists, and I reject their position because I say we need hadith, but I
Why do you
reject.
why do you need hadiths then?
Because Quran says itself that oh Muhammad, we give you the Quran so you may explain it for people. So Quran needs explanation for people, and that was Prophet Muhammad's duty. And yes, there are certain things as well that are in hadith, but for example, I can say I said to one of these Quranists that if we don't follow hadith, then we don't know what to wear when we go to Hajj. It is not mentioned in Quran that we have to wear those equal dresses in or
Sure.
that true material. It is
No, I would
not in
agree,
Quran.
and I think there's far more fundamental things in the hadiths, like number of
Yes,
prayers and those kind of things as well.
yes.
But okay then. But clearly, you don't accept all the hadiths.
No, no. I reject any hadith that goes against Quran. Okay, so my main, book is Quran, and anything that matches Quran, yes, it is. Quran says itself in chapter 4, verse 80 to 83. Quran says that if you see, these hadiths many differences with Quran, then it is not from your Lord. Okay.
Okay, but so are you rejecting what many Muslim apologists will call the science of the
Sahih.
hadiths? I mean, I really
Sahih.
don't like that term, but
Yes.
when they will say, okay, we've got certain collections, we've got this. I think typically there's 6 major collections which are considered sahih, and they are accepted by those who will follow those hadiths. They'll be all considered authentic. And that's supposed to be based on chains of narration and reliability and that kind of thing. So are you saying that you just reject all that flat out and will just go with things that are in accordance with your reading of the Quran?
Yeah, yeah. I just say if they go against Quran, I reject it, and I don't believe in Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim. They have a lot of fabricated hadiths. Okay, and Bukhari was quite a great liar, because anybody who believed that he memorized 300,000 hadiths must be, some kind of
I think it was more than that, wasn't it? 600,000, I thought.
no, they say, or he said, I don't know, he collected 600,000 and he memorized 300,000 of them. One of these scholars, or whatever his name is, I forgot his name. He was trying so hard. He was trying to persuade the students or those who were listening that he was a genius. Yeah, he would memorize. So that's why he could memorize 300,000 hadiths. So if somebody was so, intelligent, or how do you say it, smart to memorize so many hadiths, why he wasn't that smart enough to not memorize 300 fabricated hadiths? Because he threw them all out. All of them were fabricated except few. He just collected 7,000 of them among
Yeah.
600,000.
No, I mean, I would agree with you. I mean, to me,
Mm.
the entire apologetics around hadith I find unconvincing in a lot of ways. But the most important thing to me is that the majority of Muslims tend to believe in most, if not all, of the authentic hadith collections, which includes Bukhari. Bukhari is still considered, I think, the most respected of the
Hmm.
Hadith collections. And so, again, this is not just the current generation of Muslims that thought this. This is since the Hadiths were written in whenever it was, 9th, 10th century.
Hmm.
They were basically accepted by Orthodox Sunni Muslims. For let's stick with the Sunni.
Yeah.
So for you to reject it is what are you getting right that apparently almost every other Muslim through history is getting wrong?
Okay. So let me tell you like this, that in all religion, not only Islam, unfortunately, religion is for some people a business. Okay. For example, they put their children in religious schools, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, or all of them. Yeah. So that their children, when they grow, they live on religion. Okay. And for example, in Sweden, we have now atheist priests who go to church and they preach, but they are atheists because they have to, feed their children. So this is the way they make money. Okay, and this is not any exception in Islam. So we have had a lot of mullahs or clerics who have been businessmen. These businessmen, their business is selling God. And the more they sell, the more money they make. Okay, for them, the quality is not important; the quantity is important. And for example, we have now many of them in Iran in last 44 years. We see them such a devils they are, such a liars they are, a bunch of mafia. They just worship
Okay,
money.
okay.
Yes.
I mean, look, I would agree. Yes, I mean, I think we
So
both
now,
agree.
just few second, I complete this one. That of course, because it is their business, yeah. So, for example, one cleric goes against the majority of clerics would damage his business. So that's why they decided, okay, I go with the main clerics. And ordinary people, they didn't have the education. They couldn't read and write themselves, so they just blindly follow these clerics. That's why
But
became like this. Yeah.
but Muji, see, I find that difficult to be. I mean, yes, certainly there are people who will use religion, as you say, as a business. They'll manipulate money out of people. Yes, it's commonplace. But
Yeah.
in order for this to explain it, you're essentially saying that almost all the classical scholars, all of those important Muslim figures through history, were involved in basically a financial racket against the ordinary Muslim to convince them of this phony narrative about what the Quran actually says and what Allah
Yeah.
wants.
No,
That
no,
is,
no. Sorry, I didn't say.
but
Sorry,
sorry, Mujib, just let me finish the point.
just 1 second. So I didn't say all of them. Okay, but
No, not all,
majority.
not all, but
Okay.
nearly all of them.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Nearly
But,
all. Yes.
but
Okay.
to me, that almost sounds like kind of conspiracy thinking. There's
Hmm.
been a 1400-year conspiracy to stop the true Quran coming out. I
Hmm.
find that hard to believe compared to what seems the more obvious answer is
Okay.
that those Muslims genuinely believe that is how
Okay.
the Quran is.
Okay. But the thing is that this is our interpretation and people can decide themselves. We are not going to force anybody to this interpretation. You can listen, okay? For example, I have been myself mistaking some kind of the traditional interpretation when I have read other things, and then I realized that, yeah, these are more, rational. So I have accepted those, interpretation as well myself. Okay, so people have to listen to the both side interpretation and decide themselves who is right and who is wrong. So this is up to
Sure,
everybody. I'm not
sure,
going to force you. Yes.
and that's fair enough. But as I say,
Yeah.
the problem I have, if somebody presents to me two options and says this religion for its entirety has been
Mhm.
hijacked by people who don't understand it and have deliberately given out a wrong interpretation, and then there's
Mhm.
just been this tiny number within them in each generation that have the correct interpretation and they've been suppressed, or is it that the tiny minority have, for their own reasons, reinterpreted it differently? That might be because they want to modernize. That might be because they've got problems with parts of the Quran, and therefore they've reinterpreted it, and everybody else has the correct interpretation. To me, as a neutral, the that second explanation seems more likely, that the
Okay.
minority have probably reinterpreted it for their own reasons.
Okay. So maybe if I give you a fact, okay, then maybe it make more sense. Can I give you a fact?
Go ahead.
Yes. For example, the entire history, they believe that Prophet Muhammad, uh, split the moon. Okay, which is absolutely wrong, because I can give you many verses in Quran that says that no, Prophet Muhammad didn't have a miracle. Okay, for example, if I just read for you some of the verses of Quran, so you understand yourself. Anybody can understand that. Yes, they were not miracles. Okay, here, chapter 29, verse 50 and 51. But they say, why are not signs sent down to him from his Lord? Say, the signs are only with Allah, and I am only a clear warner. And is it not sufficient for them that we revealed to you the book which is recited to them? So Quran says that the Quran is enough for you. That's your miracle. Okay. Indeed, in that is a mercy and reminder for people who believe. Chapter 6, verse 35. If their aversion is too hard on you, then seek, if you can, a tunnel into the earth or a ladder into the sky in order to bring them a sign. Had Allah so willed, He would have brought all of them to the right path. So never be of the ignorance. Chapter 6, verse 37. Chapter 6, verse 109. Chapter 6, verse 111. So many, I'm not going to read all of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
many verses. So many
But
verses, yeah, many verses here say that, oh, Muhammad, you don't need, what is it, miracle. But these
but
people,
but but
they
but,
all believe that Prophet
but
Muhammad
Muji,
has split the moon. Yes,
someone's just written in the chat here. The moon
yes.
splitting verse is mentioned in the Quran itself. Quran 54,
No,
1 to 2.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's chapter 4, 54, verse 1. Okay. It is saying that the hour drawn, okay, and the moon split. It doesn't say how many pieces, and it's talking about hour, that the hour came. It is talking about the end, okay, and doesn't say who split the moon, and it doesn't say what happened. Nearly over 70 verses in Quran says how Prophet Moses, performed a single miracle, that the stick became snake. 70, more than 70, from before until he performed it, and then after what happened, everything
Why
is
why would
so
it be
clear.
significant for the moon to split if Muhammad didn't do it?
No, the thing is that if Quran doesn't mention it, okay, if Quran doesn't say it, when he says that you don't need miracle, oh, we gave miracle to previous prophets and they said it is magic, okay, so why you think that if you give you miracle they would believe? Quran said
Are,
like
are, are
this.
are you saying that Muhammad didn't perform any miracles at all?
Any miracle, not a single miracle. He just had the Quran. He said, Quran says your miracle is Quran. So it is clearly mentioned about Moses and Jesus that they had miracles. It says that they did this, they did that, but not a single word that Prophet Muhammad split the moon or Prophet Muhammad dropped, for example, his stick and became snake. Not a single word in Quran. So that's why, and that chapter 54, verse 1 is about the hour. It clearly says. And then when you read further, it's talking all the time about the end, the other side and what happened there and so on. So it doesn't say a single word that Prophet Muhammad split the moon. And chapter 5, verse 38, I also can go through that one for you to prove you that these people, they misinterpreted Quran. Okay, so I
Okay.
can go through that one also.
Okay. Well, here's my question then.
Yeah.
How comes that all of the bits which have been misinterpreted by the orthodox kind of classical Sunni interpretation, why are they always seem to be bits that are contentious in the modern age? So, for example, stoning, child marriage, blasphemy, killing disbelievers. How comes it's always these verses that have been misinterpreted, but anything that's neutral or positive? Like, I've never heard anybody say, "Oh no, actually, you got when Muhammad said to take care of, or the Quran says to take care of orphans." I've never heard a Muslim say, "Oh no, you've misinterpreted that." No, actually, what it means is that you shouldn't take care of orphans. It always seems to be the what I would call the bad bits of the Quran that seems to need this reinterpretation. Is that just an amazing coincidence?
Sorry, I have to. I
Sorry,
did something. No, I did something wrong. With played with this screen now.
do you want me to just? I'll repeat the question a bit shorter.
No. Can I go out and come back again? Because I think I made a mistake. I pushed something. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because
you've got the link, haven't you? You've got the link to come back in.
Can you put it? Let me see if I can see the.
Look, I'll remove you from the stream and then I'll bring you back in. Okay?
Oh yeah, bring me back. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, folks. We're just taking a minute to. I'm not sure what's going on with Muji. Everyone in the chat, I am seeing your questions and I will be putting them to them as we go along. I'm just going to wait for Muji to sort out his tech problems. Okay, I think we're good to go.
All right. Yes. Okay. Now
everything all right?
Yes. Please. Yeah. Can you repeat the question again now?
Yeah. So my question is, it always seems to be that the contentious parts of the Quran, things like child marriage and beating wives and all these things that are quite negative, they always seem to be the things that have been misinterpreted. Yet, if you take a positive verse or a neutral verse, apparently that's always correct. There's no misinterpretation there. So to me, that seems a little bit convenient that it's only the bad bits that seem to be misinterpreted. So,
okay, now can I answer that question? Yeah. Okay. We have to read it from Quran itself. Chapter 3, verse 7 says, "It is He who has sent down to you, O Muhammad, the book. In it are verses that are precise. They are the foundation of the book, and others unspecific. As for those whose heart is corrupted, they will follow that of it which is unspecific, desiring to create confusion and their own interpretation. And no one knows its true interpretation except Allah and those firm in knowledge. And they say, we believe in it. All of it is from our Lord, and no one will be reminded except of understanding." So in Quran we have precise verses, okay, which you don't need interpretation. So of course I would say, yeah, it is a correct, there is precise, it is precise verse, and there are unspecific verses of Quran. So unfortunately this is about unspecific verses of Quran, that those whose heart is corrupted, they have misinterpreted because of their own agenda, because of their own interest. So that's why we are trying to say, no, these people have misinterpreted.
No, I get that. I do get that. But Muji, why is it always the ones that need reinterpreting or the ones that have been misinterpreted are always the ones which are the things that make Islam look bad? I mean, for example, like you don't get free. I've never heard an apologist say, well, actually, this part about how much inheritance somebody get, that's been misinterpreted because that's fairly neutral. It's not, it's not a moral issue in any great way. But when it comes to wife beating, when it comes to child marriage and stuff like that, suddenly it's been misinterpreted. I find that extremely convenient that it always works out that way.
Okay. So for example, there is no child marriage, in Quran. The verse clearly say women. It doesn't say girls. Say among your women, those who haven't seen their menstruation because of course, a different reason, that they have had irregular menstruation, or maybe they are pregnant, just the menstruation hasn't come. So it says that their time is also 3 months. But these people who want to, interpret it as child marriage, say that those who haven't had the menstruation, the pubescent girls, which is not. It's saying an-nisa. An-nisa in Arabic means women, is not girls. And then it says, if they are pubescent girls, why they should wait 3 months in that case? They are not pregnant. It doesn't make sense that a pubescent girl has to wait 3 months in order to see if she's pregnant or not. So this is about a woman that can get pregnant.
Okay, yes. But Muji, let's move to something that's a bit more clear-cut. Slavery.
Yeah. Okay. All
Now,
right. Yes.
the phrase "what your right hand possesses" is understood to mean your slaves, and
Okay.
the Quran allows you not only to own slaves but also to have sex with them if you're a Muslim man. So,
Okay.
how are you going to reinterpret that?
All right. First of all, that your right hand possess. There is a video Brother Rashid has made, and I have also shared it on my channel. Right hand possess is not necessarily slave, because a slave is clearly in Quran is abd, is not your right hand possess. Your right hand possess is about even immigrant, for example, like today we refugees and so on. So Quran clearly want to release the slaves and says that let me read for you a verse of Quran.
But why? But hang on, Muji. Why would the slaves need to be released if the Quran doesn't allow slaves? Are you saying that the Quran does not allow slaves, or that you can have slaves?
Look, my brother, you have to understand as well that, for example, today, go to India, there are so many child slaves.
No. Sorry,
Okay,
Muji. Sorry.
okay,
No disrespect, but I'm not going to let the conversation be distracted by comparing it to other examples. I'm talking about the
okay,
Quran. Does the Quran allow you to own slaves? Yes or no?
okay. I mean, it doesn't allow you to, get slaves. Okay,
Does it allow
but
you to own them?
yeah, because as I said, it was the time. It wasn't the time that ask them. Yeah, if I read this verse for you, you
But
understand
are
that.
you saying yes?
Captain,
The Quran does
no,
allow you to own slaves.
look, one of the greatest crimes in Quran is having slaves. Okay, owning slaves,
But does
because
it allow you? Does the Quran allow you to own a slave? Yes or no?
for the time, yes,
Right, it
because
does.
yes, for the time, yes, for the time,
Okay. No. All right. Let me
yes,
just get a quick follow-up question.
yes.
If the Quran allows you to own a slave,
Okay.
why is it then considered a moral thing to release a slave? Because if the Quran has allowed you to own it in the first place, surely there's nothing wrong with it.
No, look. It is a situation. It was a situation. People had slaves, okay, and releasing all these slaves would create problems, economic problems, because they were, running the economy as well. And another thing is that it was bad for the slaves as well to be on the street. Yeah, okay, they had a place, but Quran has made sure that they have their rights and they get released. Chapter
Mm.
9, verse 60 says that all tax is only for those, for the poor and the needy, for those employed to administrate it, for those whose hearts are attracted to the faith, for freeing slaves, for freeing slaves. So Allah says that all tax has to be for freeing slaves, for those in debt, for Allah cause, and for needy travelers. This is an obligation from Allah, and Allah is all knowing, all ever.
Right.
So one of the obligation for Muslims was to freeing the slaves.
Well,
Okay,
no. It's considered a good act. It's not an obligation. There's nothing that says you are forced. You
no,
are
it says,
commanded by
it's,
God to release.
my brother, I read it now for you. It says one of it is obligation, so that you free the slaves. Okay,
No,
that you
no.
use this
There's
altar.
which verse are you talking about?
Chapter 9, verse 60. Okay, say
Chapter 9.
yes, yeah,
Let's
says
quick.
that says that these all tax are for these things, and
Right.
one of them is, and this is an obligation that you use it for such a things. Yeah, giving to
Sorry,
travelers.
Quran 9. Sorry, 9:15.
60, no,
Six.
60.
Oh, 60. I beg your pardon. Sorry,
Yes,
960.
60. Yeah.
Let's have a quick look. 960.
Mm-hmm.
So the alms are meant only for the poor and the needy, and those who are in charge thereof, those whose hearts are to be reconciled, and to free those in bondage, and to help those burdened with debt, and for the expenditure in the way of Allah, and for the wayfarer. So that's the verse you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. That doesn't say it's an obligation. That's saying that the alms, so the money that you raise for the poor, yeah,
Okay.
I don't read that as saying that you have to free your slaves.
Okay. It says it is an obligation, and I read it
There's
for
no
you.
word obligation in
Okay.
there.
we have to go to different, let me read for you. Chapter 26, verse 22 says, Moses said, is this a favor of which you remind me that you have enslaved the children of Israel? Chapter 7, verse 127, Pharaoh said, we will slaughter their sons and keep their women alive. Indeed, we are subjecting them. Chapter 23, verse 27.
Neither of those are talking about an obligation to
No, I said that these are the biggest crime of Pharaoh to enslaving people. So enslaving people, it's a crime. Okay.
If it's a crime, then why does the Quran allow you to keep a slave?
Look, it doesn't say that you may get slaves. If it was in favor of slavery, then there should be a single verse that say that buy or sell slaves, for example.
Where does it say you can't? Sorry, Muji. Where does it say that you can't buy a slave?
It doesn't say to buy a slave ever or sell a slave. Okay.
Yeah, so you can do it. I mean, Muhammad himself bought slaves.
No, this is this is hadith, and one of them was, for example, Bilal, who was freed. They bought it to free him because they were going to kill him. Okay,
but he wasn't the only slave that he owned.
Yes, the only slave that they just bought it so that he doesn't get killed, because they were torturing him and they were going to kill him. So they should
But he's not the only slave. He's not the only slave that Muhammad owned. So
okay, no, it is. Look, they have enforced a lot of fabricated hadiths to make their. It is not only that; it's about stoning adulterers as well.
But let me go back to a point that you said, because you said you did agree that the Quran says that you can own a slave, and the reason that you said was at the time it was too big. The economy depended on the slavery, etc., etc. So therefore, it couldn't be released. Would it not have been within Allah's power to set up a situation where he can free the slaves and their economy would carry on? Why is that outside of God's power?
All right, look, this is not about I understand. I can explain the way I understand, okay? And it's up to you to accept it or
no, that's right. Well, this is why we're talking.
Yes, we are just talking. Yes, exactly. So I believe that Allah could do everything, right away, fix every problem. But the thing is that I understand that he had a reason to create us on this planet, okay? And the reason was to fix things, that we fix things by his guidance, okay? But he waited millions of years until we develop and slowly change. He didn't want to change anything overnight by himself, except by giving us, but this is, for me, I see the beauty. Yes, I saw that.
I understand that. I understand that, but what I'd like to say, Muji, is that thanks to not giving an outright ban, the Muslim world never gave up slavery, ever. They were forced, every Muslim country in the world was forced to give up slavery by pressure from non-Muslim countries from the outside.
Okay. Unfortunately, I haven't read that story, but there was slavery. History. Yeah, I know that there was a slavery, and I know that Muslims, even the companion of Prophet Muhammad, after his death, they started to kill each other. So it doesn't mean that Islam allows them to do that. So it was people who were misguided. They were not correctly guided. Sure. Yes. Anyway, what I understand, slavery is oppression, is something against God's.
I would agree. It's oppression. I agree. It's a great crime. But the problem I have is that you seem to be suggesting that it would be worse to free the slaves and have some economic problems than
directly right away. Yes, it was.
Because I mean, look at other countries. I mean, America fought a bloody civil war, which was in large part due to slavery. And at the end of that war, slavery was ended. Now, I'm not saying that was the end of the problems for Black Americans. Obviously, you had lots of other things that they went through in the 19th century, etc. But slavery was done as an official thing at the end of that war. How comes these very human people who had a war which killed 600,000 people, all Allah would have had to say is it's forbidden to own a slave. Then it would have been down to the Muslims to work out, okay, how are we going to reorder society to free the slaves? It's not an impossible thing. Other countries did it.
Okay. Look, you just don't have to put the law. It has to be possible to impose it as well. And I was going to give you a good example, but you didn't allow me. Let me please explain that,
Go ahead. Go
that
ahead.
today, yes, today I have been to India. I was making a documentary about population of India. It was 2001. And I was living in a house with a Hindu family. They had two children, one 12, another 15. They were living in their house like slaves. Okay, they were just giving some little money. They were waking up 5 in the morning until late at night. They should work for just a very little money. And many, they were that woman I was living with, she was saying many of these families that these children are working there, they don't give them even their salary and they threw them out and so on. But there are millions of such
Okay.
children are working. Let me please finish. They are working and making some money, sending to their families. Okay, for example, one of them, 12 years old, she her mom had left them. Her two small children were living with the grandma, and she was making 1,000 rupees that time I was living there, sending them for. She was already a mother at 12, yeah, sending them. So banning child labor in India is a disaster. Millions of people need children's help. Okay, so you have to have a system like Sweden, then you can say child slavery or child labor is forbidden, because Sweden, you have this economy system
Well,
that take care
hang
of
on.
them.
We're not
Okay,
talking about child labor. We're talking about owning a person as piece
I
of
am
property.
saying
Slavery is different.
yes, I'm comparing this the same, that you cannot ban something that make a bigger disaster unless you have this system that slowly, for example, in India as well, they should slowly fix the problem, and slowly says that these children shouldn't work. These children have to have their childhood, they have to go to school and so on. They
Yeah,
cannot do it right away.
yeah. My problem with that, Muji, is that what Muslim society in those 1400 years made any steps towards ending slavery? Because I can't see any example. When
Okay.
I've looked at North Africa, I've looked at the Indian subcontinent, I've looked everywhere where Muslims are predominant over the last 1,000 or so years. There's
Yes.
no genuine. I'm not aware of any abolition movement. I'm not
Yes.
aware of any proper anti-slavery movement. So it
Yes.
seemed like Muslims were quite happy to let slavery go on forever.
I understand. I said that even companion of Prophet Muhammad, they were killing each other. It doesn't mean that they were, falling. As a Muslim, I see that slavery is, oppression. It's something that God doesn't like it. Pharaoh's biggest crime was slavery and so on. So as a Muslim, I understand that it is a crime. So why they didn't understand it, it is their fault, and they will be
Well,
judged by God.
well, but no, I think they didn't understand it because
Okay.
Allah allowed slavery in the Quran. That's why.
No, he didn't. Okay, I
Yeah,
say
no,
that.
he did. He
Yeah,
did. You said it.
I mean that he didn't forbid it. Okay, like directly say that it is
Yeah,
haram or
but he
something
did.
like
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
he did forbid. He forbid eating pork. He forbade gambling, interest on loans, all these kind of
Yes.
things that were banned straight away.
Okay.
Why not?
Yes,
So,
as I said.
and again,
Yes.
there are examples. There are examples in history, like with America, where slavery was done overnight. Do you think America in the 19th century had some kind of welfare system that would pick up all the slaves? No, they had to deal with the consequences, but they did it. So it
Okay.
is possible. So I don't buy this argument. This argument is really weak as far as I'm concerned to try and defend slavery
All
in the
right. But
Quran.
I explained, so it's up to everybody to. Yeah, it's okay. I
No,
just
that's
said.
fine. That's fine.
Okay. Yes. So I don't want to, uh, you know,
All
just
right.
talk
Well, yeah.
much
All right.
about that.
We don't need to labour the point. Obviously, I think we
Okay.
both kind of.
So about that, I will put this video that Brother Rashid, has made about slavery. So I put it here as well in the main chat so that people can
I
watch it
don't
if they
think you'll
want.
have access. I think only I can put. If you put it in a private chat, I'll copy it over and
Yeah,
put it.
please. Yeah, because yeah, but people have the. I don't know why other people have the access to write comment.
Yeah, it's I don't understand it for some reason when
Okay.
it's only the host can do it. But let me just put that into the.
Because I was going to put it through, Okay, perhaps I have to be. Let me
No,
see.
it's all right. I've got it in a private chat. Let me just.
Now I put it. Yeah, now I put it. I could put it now.
Well, I put it in the main chat now, so that's fine.
All right. Okay. I put
Um,
it also in the main chat so people can watch it. Brother Rashid, uh, through different verses of Quran. He's an Arab speaker, and he also has a lot of views like me as well. And yeah, you can watch it, and then you
sure.
can decide yourself
No,
as
that's
well.
fine. Well, it's
Okay.
in the chat, so people can click on the link and they can make up
Yes.
their own
Okay.
mind on it.
Yeah.
See, the the thing for me, and again to sort of broaden the issue out a bit, is and to go back to this reinterpretation.
Hmm.
Some critics will say that your reinterpretations are trying to fit the modern world's morality. So where
Hmm.
we've come to the understanding that things like slavery is wrong, things like
Okay.
wife being ordered, and then you're reinterpreting it to fit the modern morality of the day. So what would you say to that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean that this is their, their understanding, but what I can say is that Islam is against any one of the greatest things that Allah hates is oppression and slavery. All these things, even wife beating, is oppression. Okay, so I don't believe that Allah allows me to oppress someone who is weaker than me by beating her just because she's a woman. And
Well, it's not because
even
she's a woman; it's because she's being disobedient. That's
no,
or
no,
some
it's not
version.
about no, it's not about disobedience. We can go through that verse as well. It is nashuz has been used in chapter 4, verse 128 as well for women. If they fear also nashuz from their husband, okay. So if it is disobedience, then a husband can be also disobedient to wife. So this word has been used for both man and woman. If she fear that her husband is disobedient, which is not, it is actually a disloyalty, a sexual disloyalty. And that's why if he fears, okay, if he fears that she has been, some in his absence, that she has had some affair or something, then there are procedures that he has to make, talk to her, separate his bed, and then
And
the last is to leave her, okay. And
yeah,
verse next one, 35, says that if you fear that they are separated, they don't want to come back, then send somebody from her family and his family to bring them back together. It's not from,
but again, yeah. But Muti, if I go through every single one of the Quran translations, all the popular ones, Sahih International, everything else, it always
Mhm.
says some version of hit or beat. It doesn't say
Okay.
leave.
Okay. But I have also version that says leave her. If you want me to show you, if you want,
But
I can
what
show you.
version is this?
Okay.
What?
Let me.
Because I don't mean this disrespectfully, but this seems
No,
like
no,
a
no.
version
Okay.
that you've kind of conjured up from thin air. Because I
No,
can
that
find
is.
no.
I say that it's not only the only one. I have the Persian as well, one that says leave, and there are other. For example, Doctor Safi Kaskas. Let me see if I can find this
But
Quran.
would you acknowledge that pretty much all the mainstream interpretations say something like beat or hit?
Yes, I know. Yes, they say that even look, even in chapter 5, verse 38, all of them, even these Safi Kaskas that says leave her in chapter 4, verse 34. Yeah, he say leave her. Even he on that chapter 5:38 about thieves says chop off their hands, which I can show you clearly that it is not that. It is absolutely wrong. There is no such a thing. Okay. And I can prove you if you want. Okay. If you give me time.
Sorry, Mooty, just one second. I just want to respond to a comment here from Earth is
Yes.
Flat. He says, it seems that you want the most violent, and he's talking to me here. It seems
Yeah.
that you want the most violent interpretation to be the correct interpretation in order for you to be able to criticize Islam. No, that's not the case. I would be the happiest person on this planet if everybody genuinely, if all Muslims genuinely interpreted it the way that Muji does.
Okay.
I doubt I would have a channel, quite frankly.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I'm not looking for the most violent interpretation, but my problem is the fact that most Muslims and all of pretty much all the mainstream interpretations that I have seen online in my own Quran that I own at home, they all say these violent words. So it's not that I want it to be that way. It's that
Right.
they're written that way, and most Muslims agree that it's that way.
Yeah, Drastic. I would like to ask you, because you seem to be a fighter, and those who listen, please call to this EF Dawah and Hamza Din and others. Please ask them, all of you, just call them and ask them to debate me. Let's see if I am wrong. Then I leave Islam. Okay, you want somebody to leave Islam? Then if I'm wrong that Islam is what I say, if it is not this, if it is what ISIS and Taliban says, that I have been fighting such Islam in 44 years. So I leave Islam, and I'm already saying that my main enemy are these extremist Muslims.
Sure, so no, and I believe that you are sincere when you say that. I believe
yes,
that.
So please just call them when they are live and ask them, push them that why you are afraid of Perfect Dawah.
I did actually. Hamza from Hamza's Den did actually make comments on a video which I did criticizing him, and I did ask him to come on my channel. I said, come on, we'll debate whatever you like. And he refused. I made him 5.
But look, Drastic, the problem is that you cannot debate them. They say right away, you are a kafir. But they cannot say to me, okay, that's why.
But they see you as a kafir as well, though.
No. They cannot see me as a kafir. I can even prove them through Quran that kafir is not a disbeliever. Kafir, even Prophet Muhammad was a kafir, according to Quran. Can you imagine? But he was a good kafir. The Quran says, I can read for you, yeah, those who reject the oppression, the reject is kafir, those who commit kufr against oppression, okay? So prophets of God, they were those who commit kufr against the oppression. So that we have a good kafir, we have a bad kafir. Kufr is rejecting. Satan, according to Quran, was a kafir, not because he disbelieved in God, because he rejected his command. So if you reject God's commands, which is paying, giving charity, all these things that I said to you, this is a kufr, yes. But not believing in God is not a kufr, no, because it is.
The thing is, I can't definitely say this is true, but it would seem to me that they would all say that your interpretation is so far removed from the
That's why they run away from me. If they can say that, if they can prove it, why they run away like this Nader?
Well, you'd have to ask them. But
yes, that's why I want that you or others please call them and ask them why they don't say it on my face, why they don't sit and talk to me. They talk to Christians hours and hours, okay?
Well, I'd imagine part of the reason they don't want to talk to you is because they don't want somebody who is a Muslim challenging them. Okay, so I'd say that's probably at least one of the reasons. But
because they cannot say I'm kafir, but to you they can say that, oh come on, you are a kafir.
I don't care what they would say about me. I mean, I say all sorts of things about them, and I don't hide my absolute disdain for them. So they can say whatever they like.
What I'm saying to their followers, they can say that, okay, he was a kafir. So their followers, say, yeah, he was a kafir. But to me, they cannot say, because I can bring them from Quran. If I bring them facts from Quran, I am a believer.
Hang on one second. Hang on one second. I think they will say you're a kafir, because what they'll say is you've removed yourself from the fold of Islam by not following the traditional teachings. I've seen Muhammad Hijab say that about all kinds of Muslims. I've seen even like somebody like the Impactful Scholar. In his comment section, it's full of Muslims saying you're not a real Muslim. So this is the attitude. So I don't really think they're going to see you that much differently to me.
Okay, sorry. Somebody in the chat say Banky's style life. This man is an agent of the Iranian regime. It's such a. I don't understand people. I have said that.
I don't know if he's making a joke or not.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've said that I have fought the Iranian regime in 44 years. I'm the supporter of the greatest enemy of the Iranian regime. My brother have been executed by this regime, and then you here say this guy is an Iranian agent.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's making a joke or whatever, but how you doing, Banksy Style? Thank you for reminding people to hit the like button and everything. I see, again, to me, it comes back to the same issue of the
Yeah.
fact that, yes, if your interpretation was widely accepted, then I would have far less of a problem with Islam. But
Mhm.
I just find it too difficult to believe that number one, this book is supposed to be clear, yet you have to do so much reinterpretation. You have to reject all of the hadiths that you don't find fits that new interpretation. This really does feel like, if I'm being honest, I'm trying to be as charitable as possible, but just as a
Yes.
neutral looking at this, I'm thinking if it needs this much work to make
Mhm.
it fit the correct interpretation, something smells wrong here. This feels like somebody who is just uncomfortable with some
Yes.
parts of the Quran and is trying to change
Yes.
it. Now, I could understand that. You seem like
Yeah.
a good man with a conscience,
Thank you.
but I think this is more. I'd say this is why you're reinterpreting things rather than again, because you're not reinterpreting any of the more neutral or the more positive ones. It's only this
Okay.
bad stuff. So
Okay. No. Okay. Let me tell you something. First of all, I know that. First of all, I read for you chapter 3, verse 7. Quran was saying, God was saying that no, it is not that clear. There are unspecific verses of Quran that only Allah and His those fear in knowledge understand it. So it is not that clear. And I'm also sad myself. Yeah, I wish that it was that clear. I wish that it was, more. For example, I don't know. He could give me a miracle today that I could, for example, split the moon and show people that yes, God exists and it is His commands and what I say is correct. All these things. But
yeah,
God seems not to do that. Okay, there was an atheist told me that why God doesn't update His commands like Microsoft update its
it's a good
software
question.
every year.
Good
Yes,
question.
yes. Yeah, so yes, that question is there, yeah, and I wish that he did it, yes, but he hasn't done it. But I understand it, as I said, that he wants us. He wasn't in a hurry. He waited 4.5 billion years until the earth becomes like this, and he waited millions of years until we, from trees, come to the cities, and then create this
Okay.
civilization. So he was not in a hurry, and he knows that we will reach that moment one day, and I know that, I believe in it, that
I no
one
no
day
I
we will reach.
I believe that you're
Yes.
sincere when you say these
Yes.
things. I'm not
Yeah.
questioning your sincerity. What I'm going
Yes.
to do, if you don't mind, Muji,
Yes.
is there's a couple more questions that I want to ask
Yes,
you,
please.
and then
Yeah.
and then after that, I might just scroll back through the comments and just
Yes.
we'll read off any questions and stuff. And if
Mhm.
anybody wants to ask any more questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll get to them shortly. There's two other areas I want to touch on.
Mhm.
Um, Atheists like myself, do we burn in hell forever?
No, I
Okay.
said in my organization as well. Okay, we believe that even a Marxist will go to heaven. Even yes, we believe even what is it, Mahatma Gandhi, who was a Hindu or a pagan, he will go to heaven for his good deeds. There are lots of verses in Quran that says that you go to heaven for your good deeds. Welcome to heaven for what you used to do. It is not about what you think or believe in. It's about what you do in this world. Heaven is for those who do good deeds. It is in Quran. I can read for you many verses of Quran.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a requirement to believe in a creator.
No, 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 it's not. It's not a requirement. It's good that you believe because you will follow the message perfectly. But if you don't believe and you just do good deeds, then Allah will remove, He says Himself, He will forgive you for your minor sins if you avoid major sins. Okay? And major sins are, killing innocent people and doing, oppressing people and all this. Your minor bad
Sure,
deeds.
but isn't the test of life supposed to be that you recognize and worship the creator?
No, no, I'm not worshiping the creator. Okay, he doesn't need my
You
worship.
don't pray?
I no, I pray, yes, but I'm not worshiping him. Okay, I am obeying him. I believe that we obey him, not worshiping him. He doesn't need our worship. He needs our obedience to his commands because of ourselves, not because of him. He doesn't need anything. If I obey him to give charity, if I obey him to do not do bad deeds, it's good for you, my brother. It's good for other people. Okay, all is about us.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not about him.
I mean,
Okay,
these are such basic things in the Quran and in the classic interpretation of the Quran that you have to acknowledge and worship the one true creator. He's the only, I mean, it's part of the Shahada, isn't it? I mean, to recognize there is only one God that's that's worthy of worship.
okay. I say that that's shahada is actually doesn't exist. It's also something that there is no word that you have to give shahada, but it is yes, we believe that he exists. Okay, but I say it is not the only way that you go to heaven. Okay, yes, it's one of the ways that you go to heaven, but it is not the only way that you go to heaven.
So if I believe in God, there, so okay, the Muslims, those who recognize Allah as the one creator, do they all go to heaven at
not
least?
all.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Wait, let me finish. I know. Much of the interpretation says that you can go to hell for some amount of time as a Muslim for your sins, but eventually all Muslims will go to heaven. So what do
Okay,
you
no.
think about that?
And let me see. I don't believe that, for example, depend on what you say, Muslims. For example, Ayatollah fascist Khomeini, he called himself Muslim, but he goes where Adolf Hitler.
Let's not go to extreme cases. Let's just say
Yes.
your average standard Muslim.
Okay, let me read for you from Quran, chapter 107, verse 1. Have you seen the one who denies the religion? This is 107, chapter 107, verse 1 through 7. Okay, that is the one who repulses the orphans and does not encourage the feeding of the poor. So woe to those who pray. This is about those who pray, those who believe, yet are not mindful of their prayers. Those who only show off and refuse to give even the simplest aid. So Quran in these verses also put believers beside disbelievers who do the same thing. They don't give charity, they don't take care of orphans and so on. So it is not about what you say, it's about what you do in Islam. Okay, a person, for example, Ernesto Che Guevara, who sacrificed his life for his own kind, he is in the rank of prophets of God according to Quran. Okay, so he goes to heaven, but Ayatollah fascist Khomeini, ISIS, Taliban, they go to hell. Okay, so this is our understanding of Quran.
But Muji, let's go to Quran. So I'm trying to find a verse here. Surah 39, 11. Okay. Say, Muhammad saw, verily, I'm commanded to worship Allah alone by obeying him and doing religious deeds sincerely for Allah's sake only, and not to show off, not to set up rivals, right? He's commanded to worship Allah. So how can you say that you don't have to worship?
Yeah. No, it is, first of all, it's obeying. Okay, as I said, it is obeying. And you obey God because of his commands. You don't obey God because I said, I am a Muslim that not because God exists, not because Prophet Muhammad was prophet of God. I'm a Muslim because I found the way out of this jungle we are living in Islam. Yeah. If God cannot save us, if God cannot guide us out of our problems, I'm not going to worship him. I say it right away here. Okay.
Sure. No. That's fair enough. But
yes.
But isn't even if we're going to accept that, and I find that very hard to believe that it's not about worship, because it's said enough times in the Quran, in the Hadith, etc. But let's assume that's right. If I'm not obeying Allah's commands, then I'm going against Allah. So therefore, I'm going to go to hell, right?
Again, yes. Again, if you are not obeying him, means that you are not going to do good deeds. You are doing bad deeds.
No, but it also means that if I drink alcohol, if I eat pork, if I don't give...
No. Yes. Okay. No, those are... Look, I said, first of all, if you drink alcohol and then drive over a human being, yes, that's not only Allah will punish you, even the government will punish you here in this world.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we're not talking about it. You're adding conditions
Yeah.
here. I'm just talking about
Yes.
drinking. It's
Yes.
forbidden to drink alcohol, is it not?
Yes. 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 Look.
So if I drink alcohol, I'm not following Allah's command. So therefore, I should
Yes.
go to hell, right?
No. Look. I said that Allah will forgive your. I don't know how big is that, but I'm sure that that's not a big crime in Islam. Allah says that I forgive you for your minor bad deeds if you avoid major bad deeds. He knows that.
How do you determine what's minor and what's major?
So minor, for example, is of course eating pork and
but how do you what says that that's only a minor sin?
Okay, I don't know, because I just say that the most important thing is the oppression, killing people, all these bad deeds. These kind of bad deeds are the major.
I would agree that they're major. I would agree with you, just as a person with a conscience,
Yes.
with morality. But
Yes.
where does it say that in the Quran, that those are the major ones and pork and alcohol is the minor one?
Yeah, because actually it's mostly oppression. Yes, in Quran that is mentioned everywhere that it is a major bad deeds, oppression. So it is not.
Yeah, but disbelief is a major.
No, disbelief is not. Where is the?
Oh, come on! It's throughout the Quran.
Yes, that's kafir. Yeah, that's kufr. Okay, and kufr is not disbelief. I said that kufr is rejecting His commands, and I said that even Satan. Can I? You want me to read for you about kufr?
No. I think you've done this with people who you've debated in the past, so I don't think we need to go over that. But the point is,
all right, okay.
But if I'm not following His commands, then I'm rejecting His commands. So therefore, I'm going to go to hell. And if His commands include things like eating pork and drinking alcohol, then I'm in a lot of trouble, aren't I?
No, yeah, look, I said that God knows that you make mistake. You might not understand.
No, it's not a mistake.
Okay.
It's not a mistake.
Okay.
I openly reject the idea that Allah exists, and I drink alcohol.
And you know, and you know that Allah exists, but you reject it. Yeah, but
No, I understand that He doesn't exist.
So exactly. So it is. He knows that you don't understand. You are not rejecting because you are a bad person. Okay. You are rejecting because you just simply didn't get it, okay? And I know a scholar.
Well, I've read the Quran. I've read the Quran. Yes. I've read it from cover to cover, and I find it completely unconvincing.
Okay, yeah, I understand. No, I said that. Yes, you read it, but you are unconvinced. So it's not about that. Quran says that those who the prophets and those who spread the message of equality, the killer of them is equivalent to the killer of a prophet. Yeah. And warn them for a great punishment. And according to a great scholar, Quran talks about non-Muslims. It's not talking about Muslims. It says those. When it says those, it means anyone who spread the message of equality. And he was saying that Quran knows that some people might not have heard the message, or they have heard the message, but they didn't get it, like you. Yeah. You have heard it, but you didn't get it.
No, I did. I did get it. The message is contradictory and quite horrifying.
Okay, so it means that you were not convinced. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That you read it, but you are not convinced. Not because you are a bad person, like Ayatollah Fascist Khomeini. Yeah.
All right, fine. All right, we don't need to keep mentioning it. I understand that Iran is your kind of big issue, but let's not keep bringing it back to Khomeini. I'm going to ask you a question that's just come up in the chat. Is being an apostate a minor sin?
Quran says itself that the biggest crime is that they lose their past rewards. That's the biggest threat, that when you have become apostate, I remove from you your past rewards, whatever you had. Praying, fasting, just because you.
So you go to hell then?
No, it's not only for that you go to hell. Okay, again, it's about what you will do after that. Okay, if you commit crimes again, that's all which is count, not your.
But Muji, if this is the case, that being an apostate has no effect on whether you're going to get to hell or not. Being a non-believer has no effect on whether you get to hell or not. It's all down to the actions, right? Mm-hmm. Whether you live a good life, be a good person. Then what's the point in Islam?
Okay, yes.
Why do we need it?
All right. Yeah, exactly. So this is the great. We should start from this as well, perhaps, that why I believe that Islam is the way out of this jungle we are living in, is that God tried to solve our problems in the past by sending us prophets, and He did it. He solved a lot of problems in the past through Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Like what?
For example, yeah, one of them was, for example, in Islam, Arab Bedouins, they were burying their daughters alive, and He
Yeah,
stopped them. Yes.
I think this is a bit of a. This is massively exaggerated.
All
This
right, let's not not go to back to that. I'm just explaining. Okay, for example, Christianity stopped Romans and Greeks from crucifying people. Putting people in the in stadium, killing each other. So anyway, they change our course. One of them is that Persian Empire, despite it was biggest empire, they didn't have any slaves, any crucifixion, or because they had prophet Zarathustra that taught them three main teachings. So anyway, these are some things that God and His religion solved. But was it enough? No. I say that if God cannot solve our current problems, then okay, it is past and we have to forget it, okay, because He did His job and He cannot solve our problems anymore.
Well. Hang on. All right. Let me just rephrase this because I think maybe
Yes.
yeah. Let me put this another way. If I'm capable of living a good life, being a good person, without Islam, why do we need Islam? Why do we need this set of rules? If I'm able to live a life without it, what value does it have?
All right, okay. So that's why what I was trying to explain is that we need Islam to solve the common problems that we are facing on this planet. It's not about that just you. For example, we have poverty, prostitution, drugs, all these problems, war. People are destroying the planet. So these problems we have to solve, okay? And I believe that we cannot solve them without Islam, okay? And if anyone who can solve these problems, I'd be more than glad, and I'm not going to follow Islam, okay? If someone comes with a plan that I have this plan, and the source of our problems, okay, is this, the solution is this. So, but I know that this Islam says the source of our problems is the devil, the Satan, which is the. Let me tell you, brother, that Satan is not an entity; it's a system that is ruling the planet Earth. We call it capitalism. Okay, the capitalist system is destroying the planet, is allowing people to become rich by killing millions of people. And Islam's
Or
solution is equality. Drastic. Let me
no,
explain
no,
it.
no.
Please.
Well, no, no, no. Look, I've got to cut in
Okay.
here because look, I mean,
Yes.
I'm not here to
Okay.
specifically to get into economic models and that kind of thing. Okay, maybe a conversation. I don't
But
really.
you asked me why we
No,
need Islam. Okay. So
no,
I'm
yeah,
explaining.
but let me
Yeah.
counter. Right,
Okay.
you're saying that Islam needs to come here to solve certain problems for humanity.
Not certain. All problems.
Right. Okay. So how? Well, let me give you that example again. If the
Okay.
Quran came here to solve the problem of slavery, it failed, and it
Okay.
would have, and it completely failed, and it took non-Muslims
Okay.
acting on their conscience to stop slavery. That's what it took. The
Okay.
Quran Islam was an absolute failure. In fact, Islam actually allowed slavery to expand out of
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, all through
Okay.
East Africa. Millions
Okay.
of slaves taken by Muslims over
Okay.
1,000 years of imperialism.
Mm.
Hundreds of thousands of slaves taken from Europe, probably millions of slaves taken from parts of Asia as well. So that was a major human problem, and it was not solved with Islam. Islam made that problem worse. So how
Okay.
can we really think that Islam is here to solve anything when in my mind, on one of the most crucial moral issues, it actually made the situation worse?
Okay. Again, we went to the past. I'm not talking about the past. The past, I said that Islam didn't come to, or God didn't send prophets to solve things immediately. He waited millions of years. But it's not about past. It's about today and the future. Okay. And those who did those things, they went against Quran and teachings of Quran. So I said that one. But today I'm saying that you ask me why we need Islam. I say if Islam cannot solve our problems, if someone else can solve our problems better and faster, I say we don't need Islam. Is that
Well, I
not
gave you an
fair?
example. Yeah, but I gave you an example where we did. Slavery was solved by
And
non-Muslims.
I said, yes, and I said that that's, first of all, is not the only one, okay? I said that we have millions of problems today that Islam is going to solve. And I said, first of all, tell me, where is the source of all problems we are facing on this planet? Drastic. You are an educated person. You are living in 21st century. For example, tobacco companies, they kill 5 million people every year. Okay. So do you think the source of the problem of these 5 million people are getting killed, isn't it the capitalist system that allows them to make billions of dollars by killing people? Isn't it that?
Well, there's look. I mean, it's not necessarily in just the capitalist system. I mean,
So
smoking is
what is
allowed
that?
across the world, whether you're in a pseudo-capitalist system, a pseudo socialist system, whatever. You're going to have
Okay.
smokers there because there's a market for it. Because people,
Okay, now can I? Oh, yeah, you said something. You said there is a
including
market
Muslim
for that.
countries, which
No, you said, look, you said there is a market for that. Yes, you didn't. You say,
yeah,
Drastic?
yeah.
So
Well,
if there,
it's not just that. It's not just that. I mean, the point is, I mean, advertising encourages people to buy it and stuff
I
like that.
said that. No, Drastic, please. You are an educated person. You are living in 21st century. You should understand me. If we take away the system that allows them to produce tobacco and sell it and make billions of dollars, then they are not going to produce it because there is no market for that. Nobody buy it because money will not exist, okay? And they cannot sell, so they will close down their factories, their production.
Yeah, but Islam is not promoting a moneyless society, is it?
It is.
No. Where are
That's
you
why
getting
I'm
that from? Where does that say that in
okay.
any
Yes,
Islamic
yes.
scripture?
Okay, all right. Let me tell you. First of all, interest is haram. Okay, is any Muslim society want to live by that law has to get rid of capitalism, because today when you go to so-called Islamic banks, okay, and you ask them how much is my interest, they say, oh, here we don't say interest, we say profit. They just change the name because you cannot, live by Islamic, rules, and you take interest. So capitalism will collapse on one.
Well, no, I mean that's
law
not
of
true.
Islam.
Sorry, Muta. Profit and interest are not the same things. You can get rid of interest and still have a capitalist system. So that's just not true.
Okay, you mean that the banks will survive without interest? Can you explain to me?
No,
Because
I'm just saying that you can still make a profit without interest on loans.
how can you make interest? I don't understand. For example,
Because you make a profit by selling a product at more than it costs to produce. That's how you make a profit. That's not necessarily, you don't necessarily need an interest-free loan or something for it.
Look, when you put your money in the bank, okay, so you get interest from your money that you put in the bank. That's called interest, and it is haram in Islam. So any capitalist system will collapse without banks.
I mean, there used to be usury laws in the whole world, and yet capitalism still arose. So I mean,
all right, okay. Let me then explain.
But Muji, sorry to interrupt. I don't want to turn this into a big argument about capitalism.
Yeah, but okay. So no. Look. You ask me something, and I have to explain for you when you don't want to that. So it's not possible to.
No, it's not that I don't want. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that.
No, I know. I understand. But it is not possible without that, because the source of all problems we are facing, it is the devil, according Abrahamic religion, all Abrahamic religion. Yeah. And in Quran says that Satan spread poverty among you and lead you to immorality. So Satan is the source of all immoralities.
Well, obviously I disagree with that. Obviously I disagree. There is no Satan. But
no. I'm just saying, look, I don't believe I said Satan is the system. Satan is not the entity.
Yeah, okay. So you're using it as a metaphor. Okay.
Exactly, metaphor. So, and then when we stand towards Mecca and say to God, show me the right way, and we prostrate towards Mecca, is the equality, the drastic. You ask me where you get it, okay? Let me explain for you. When we go to Mecca, we dress equal. We cannot wear jewelry. We cannot wear anything except equal dress. So no one is rich, no one is poor. And we say to God, I accept it. I accept what? I accept equality. And then we reject the opposite of equality, which was Satan. And Satan is nothing but the capitalist system. So this is the system that God wants.
Okay, no, Muji, you made that point, but I do want to move on because, as I say, I mean,
all right, okay, that's all.
Here I'll say, look, I'm quite happy to have another conversation with you about the economic systems and stuff like that. But for the sake of this, there's one more question I want to ask you, and then I'll move to the questions in the chat, and then
I'm so sorry, drastic. I'm so sorry that if I talk sometimes over, just I should make it clear so that you know that I have some proof. It's not just I made it up. Okay, so yes.
All right. Please. Okay. No. All right. You've made that point. Right. The last question I want to ask is about homosexuality. Now, what is, in your interpretation, does the Quran say about homosexuality?
So it says that it is not a good thing. Quran rejected, but there is no for any crime there is no any worldly punishment. Nothing. Even if you kill somebody, I don't have right to punish you. Nobody has the right to punish you, except we have to rehabilitate you, because there is a source for all problems. Your judgment is only with God, okay? So I have no right to force you to anything, understand? I just have the right to say that it is not a good thing, okay? But if you want to do it, that's up to you. It is.
So you don't think that the story of Lot in the Quran is talking about?
Okay, no, that wasn't only because of that. They were rapists. They were doing all bad.
But it is to do with homosexuality, isn't it?
One of their bad deeds was homosexuality, but they were punished they were punished by God. He didn't say to his prophet to go and punish them. We have no right to punish people. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If it's a crime, if they are going to hell, whatever, it is up to God. Maybe He forgive them. Maybe He knows that, okay, this person was born in this way. Maybe He doesn't. Okay, that's not up to me.
Okay, so in your society that you're talking about, people who are of sexual minority, so the gay people, lesbian, bisexual people, etc., they would have the complete freedom to be as part of the gay community, to be openly gay, and there will be no persecution against them.
No persecution. Just I have the right to explain for them, because I know that the source of all these things is something else, and I will try to get rid of the source. We say that get rid of the disease, not the patient. Okay, so we get rid of the disease.
That's worrying language to be using that about gay people. I mean, you're kind of comparing them to being diseased. I mean,
no, I'm not comparing them to the disease. I'm saying that to all problems, any problems, there is a source, okay? And I said the source is the Satan, which is a system, and we have to get rid of that system. These problems will disappear itself, okay? So I have no right to force them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to scroll back through the comments and just see. I think we have addressed some of them, but let me just quickly go down and we'll see if there's any bits that haven't been addressed yet. Let's have a quick look. I think we did the moon splitting thing. Okay, right. So Moshin asked, to be clear, Perfect Dawah believes every tafsir ever of 54.1 was incorrect. I'm not sure quite what he means there. Moshin, if you're still around, mate, then maybe you can repost that, because I'm not 100% what you meant by that one. All right, let me move down further. Let's see.
Somebody claimed, by the way, here that the guy who said that I'm an Iranian agent claimed that I'm a Shia. No, I'm not a Shia. I'm not a Sunni. I converted to Islam, okay? And I agree with Shia and Sunni, and disagree with Shia and Sunni also. Wherever they agree with Quran, I agree with them. Wherever they disagree with Quran, I disagree with them. So I'm not a Shia. I'm not a Sunni.
Yeah, I mean, well, somebody mentioned before, and I was going to mention this. I mean, obviously you brought up the no compulsion in religion, but that has it's quite dodgy, that verse. I have to
Okay.
say, because
Okay.
it's not really saying there's no compulsion in religion, is it? Let's bring the verse up,
Okay.
because I think this is quite an important one. But I just want to get the verse, so I'm. Bear with me.
No problem.
Actually, I think he's quoted the. I think. Well, yeah, he's quoted 9:5 that when the inviolable months have passed, then kill the polytheists wherever you find them and capture them and besiege them and sit in wait for them at every place of ambush. But if they should repent, establish prayer and give zakah, then let them go on their way. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful. So, I mean, that verse would suggest there certainly is compulsion in religion. What would you say to that?
Once again, because I was looking for the compulsion, because I found it. Yeah. Here it says, chapter 2, verse 256. There shall be no compulsion in the religion. The right course has become clear from the wrong. So whoever commit kufr in taghut, yeah, in oppression, and believes in Allah. So okay, here it says, so whoever commit kufr or reject the oppression and believes in Allah. So here also it's a clear verse that says a good kafir, yeah, those who commit kufr against the oppression and believes in Allah has grasped the most trustworthy handhold with no break in it, and Allah is hearing and knowing. Okay.
Yeah, but
So,
it's saying and believes in Allah. So, I mean, it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it said that. It said those who commit kufr against the oppression. Understand? So kufr is not a disbelief. Kufr is rejecting. Here is a good kufr. So
I think you're splitting hairs though, because they're basically synonymous terms. I mean, if you're a disbeliever like myself, I have rejected Islam. I've read it and I've rejected it.
No, I said that kufr, the meaning of kufr, I left there also. I think no, that was I can. There is another video. I can also leave the link also about kufr. Who is a kafir? Okay, so there is a good kufr and there is a bad kufr. Okay, if you reject the oppression, okay, and fight the oppression, you are a good kafir. If you reject Allah's commands, which I explained, what are those? Love one another and so on.
Well,
so
it's all but this is where I would disagree, because you're cherry picking the commands. I gave you commands which I am not following.
Okay, so give me the command that you don't. I said that. Okay, that
I don't pray. God, I don't drink.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Yes, those commands. I told you that I don't know. They might be, according to me, they are not major bad deeds. Okay, according to my understanding.
But that's personal, isn't it? That's okay. Not, you can't back that up scripturally.
Yes, okay. I said that that's your judgment is with God, okay? But I don't, if you ask me, I say I don't believe that you will go to hell because of your, these types of, because you didn't understand. Even if you do something bad because you didn't understand. That's why
I get that. And I like your interpretation better, but I have to say there's no basis for it. That's just you've decided that to interpret it to say that these are sins that aren't going to get you into hell, but you've got no basis to say it.
Look, I say this because I have read Quran and I understand that. Okay, that you didn't do it because of you are a bad person, is just because you didn't understand it. Okay, you didn't know. For example, myself, let me say this. Myself, I was drinking alcohol. I was having pork. Okay, now I don't drink alcohol, not because I'm a Muslim, no, because I realized this is bad for me.
But Perfect Dawah. Sorry, Bougie. What happens if I read the Quran, I didn't understand it, and I went out and killed someone?
Okay, if you go and kill someone, but you understand at least that killing someone is a bad thing. Okay,
so why do I understand that as a non-Muslim, but I can't understand about the alcohol and the pork?
I didn't get your point exactly.
Well, what I'm saying is you're saying, well, I would understand even if I'm rejecting Islam that killing a person is a bad thing to do, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So why am I able to understand that without Islam, and yet I'm not able to understand that drinking alcohol and eating pork is a bad thing?
As the same for myself, I didn't understand it either. Okay. Now, I thought that,
Yeah,
for
but
example,
why? Why am I not able to understand if I reject Islam about pork and alcohol, but I am able to understand that killing someone is a bad thing without the Quran?
why you are that one I don't understand.
Well,
Because I
well,
didn't, it is the same for me. I didn't understand either that alcohol is bad, okay? But when I understood it, I stopped it. I made a document
no.
before I become Muslim. I stopped it, by the way. I made
All
a
right.
documentary for
Let me
this.
rephrase it because I
Okay.
don't think I'm coming across properly. What I'm saying is that you're saying, okay, I read the Quran, I reject it. You're saying I don't understand it, so therefore, if I drink alcohol or eat pork, these are minor sins, so therefore, it's not going to send me to hell. But if I go out and kill someone, then I will. So what you're saying is that even if I don't understand the Quran, I'm still supposed to understand that killing someone is wrong. So why is that the case?
Okay. So look, I say perhaps in the past, because today we are educated. Maybe in the past, if you went and killed somebody, he wouldn't either punish you. For example, if a crazy person, let's say today, even today, if somebody, a psychopath person, go and kill somebody, even the law, today's law, man-made law, also doesn't punish that person because they know that this person didn't understand it. God understand that one also, that you didn't understand that you shouldn't kill this person, for example. Okay, God understand that one. Even we people understand that one. So if you don't understand something is wrong and you commit it, I think this is my understanding that God will not punish you for that. He's not going to punish monkeys, for example. They also do a lot of bad deeds, okay? But he's not going to punish them because they don't understand. A child is not going to punish if he does something wrong because the child doesn't understand that, okay? So this is what I understand from Islam and from Quran. So when you know something is wrong, and again, even if you do it and repent, still God will forgive you. Yet
Well,
God will
I
forgive
can
you.
go out and kill a bunch of people, and then I can just repent to God, and that's it. I'm all
Okay,
good.
that's you take a very great risk. Okay, that maybe he forgives you. I don't know, but you take a great risk. Maybe he doesn't forgive you. I cannot guarantee you that he forgives you. Okay, but because,
If I drink alcohol and I'm not hurting anybody else, then that's not a problem. I'm going to be forgiven to that.
no, that's not a big problem, but you're harming yourself, and that's for your own sake, okay? Because you know that alcohol is poison, okay? That's for your own sake, okay? That you don't have to harm yourself either. But it's not a big crime, no. I can't say that it's not a big crime
No,
if
okay.
you don't.
As I say, I do like your interpretation, but I'm just saying this is down to personal interpretation now, rather than anything that can be backed up with scripture, as far as I can see.
All right,
But
okay.
let's move it because somebody's just posted the 9:5 verse again about the compulsion, which is the one that I read, which is about killing the idolaters unless they repent. So that kind of goes against the whole compulsion in religion
All
verse.
right, let me see.
It's
Chapter,
9:5. 9:5 is the verse.
okay, let me see. 9:5. I have to bring it up because I haven't memorized them, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, Mujib, but I mean, I've taken up nearly 2 hours of your time, so I mean, I
Yes, no
apologise.
problem.
I mean,
Don't
I'm
worry.
quite happy to go on as long as you are, but
Okay.
I can also look to wrap it up. But yeah, anyway, so
Okay.
9:5.
Okay. Uh, Let me go to. First of all, this is about during the fight. Okay. Uh, okay. These are all, and then says that if the politics they come to you and seek, protection, you have to protect them. Let me clearly read for you from Quran that
I have the
when
verse
you
up,
have.
so I have
Okay,
read it
yeah,
before, so
yes, I said that. That's you cannot take it out of. Uh, let me see. Okay, in Quran, chapter 489, they wish that you should be kafir just as they are kafirs, so that you may all be alike. Do not therefore take from them allies until they immigrate in the way of Allah. But if they turn their backs, seize them and slay them wherever you come upon them. Take none of them for your ally or helper. Next verse. Okay, so I'm continuing next and next. Unless it be such of them who seek refuge with a people who are joined with you by a covenant, or those who come to you because their heart is shrink from fighting either against you or against their own people. Had Allah so willed, He would certainly have given them power over you, and they would have fought against you. If they leave you alone and do not fight against you and offer you peace, then Allah does not permit you to harm them. Next verse. You will find others who wish to obtain security from you and obtain security from their people. Every time they are refuted to state of oppression, they fall back into it. So if they do not withdraw from you, this is also again fighting with you, or offer you peace, or restrain their hands, then seize them and kill them wherever you overtake them. And thus we have made for you against them a clear authorization. Chapter 8, verse 61. And if they incline to peace, then incline to it also, and rely upon Allah. Indeed, it is He who is hearing the knowing. So I can read for you many verses in Quran that says you have no right to fight those who do not fight you. Chapter 60 verse 8 as well says that Allah does not forbid you from those who do not fight you and expel you from your home to be righteous towards them. So it is all about those who fight you. Okay, my brother?
Yeah, but I don't really think that helps, because the verse is still saying that you can kill the disbelievers unless they come and essentially become Muslims.
Okay,
So
look,
it is clearly
yeah,
saying that the way to
okay,
save yourself is to become Muslim. Otherwise, you're permitted to be killed.
okay. I read for you chapter 3 verse 8, chapter 3 verse 7, sorry, and I said that only those firm in knowledge understand the true interpretation of unspecific verses. How they understand it, they put it beside other verses. Okay, so when chapter 60 verse 8 says, wait, chapter 60 verse 8, okay, says that Allah does not forbid you from those who do not fight you because of religion and do not expel you from your homes, from being righteous towards them and acting justly towards them. Indeed, Allah loves those who act justly. Allah, next one, Allah only forbids you from those who fight you because of religion and expel you from your homes and aid
Yeah,
in your expulsion. Okay, so let me read for you about, for example, you say that they have to become Muslim. Chapter 3, verse 113. Not all of them are alike. Of the people of the book are a portion that stand for the right. They rehearse the verse of God all night long, and they prostrate themselves in
yeah.
adoration.
But Mujib, this does not nullify what's in chapter 9. Because in
Okay.
chapter 9, again, if you look at what's being said, it's basically saying that if you've got a treaty with non-Muslims, okay, if you've got some kind of treaty that says that you can't kill them, then yes, you can't kill them. But if that treaty is invalidated in any way, you can kill the disbelievers
No.
unless they can come to you and convert to Allah. Or if they seek your protection, the verse says, if they seek protection, then take them in to listen to the words of Allah. That's clearly saying that the protection is conditional on you essentially listening to the thing that's going to make you a Muslim.
Drastic. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to compare you with ISIS or anything. But unfortunately, the way they do is also take one verse of Quran that they say
I'm
this
not
is the
taking one
only
verse. I'm not
No,
taking
no,
one.
look. I said that chapter 3 verse 7 says that the unspecific verses of Quran is known only by Allah and those firm in knowledge. Those firm in knowledge, they don't call Allah and say, Allah, what does it mean, this verse? No. What they do, they
Sure.
put it beside other verses and say, oh, Allah chapter 60 verse 8 says that I have no right to fight those who do not fight me.
Yeah, but
So when
Muji,
I put them
Muji,
beside,
do you feel
drastic,
the need? Do you feel the
no,
need to put
yeah,
the verse which says that you should obey your parents? Do you feel the need to put that verse next to any other verse, or is that nice and clear?
okay,
Because
because that's, yes,
it's going back to the point that I'm saying, that it's always these contentious verses about
yes.
violence that suddenly you need to refer to 700 other verses in the Quran to try and make it sound that it's saying something that it's not.
Okay, look, okay,
And
look,
also, just sorry, the
yes,
reference to you're not saying that I'm ISIS. Let me be clear here, because you have said this to almost everybody you've talked about. You kind of hinted and implied that if they don't accept your
no, no, I
reformist
didn't.
version, they're somehow doing it. Bear
No,
in mind,
no,
can you accept
no,
that it's
drastic,
not? No,
no,
wait, let me
drastic,
just ask you this.
yes, yes.
Can you accept that there are many, many millions, tens of millions of Muslims in the world who are not part of ISIS, but agree with the traditional definition that, yes, these are about killing disbelievers?
Okay, yes,
You
I
know it's
understand.
not just ISIS. You know it's not just
No, I
ISIS.
know. Look, I know. I'm just saying that either Allah is contradicting, okay, or these
Yeah.
people don't understand it, okay. So when Allah says that not only Muslims go to heaven, he says that in what I read for you now about Christian and Jews, that there are good Christian and Jews that they do this, and they are in the rank of righteous people. So they are people who, and then even disbelievers, people who do not believe in God, they are in the rank of righteous people. There are many other verses. So Allah clearly says that fight those who fight you, and fight as long as they fight. When they stop fighting, you stop fighting too, because Allah does not like those who transgress. So
Yeah, but
he's clearly saying it. Okay.
yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to see the verse in the Quran that puts us atheists in the righteous people group, because I don't think I've ever read that. But
Okay.
that's
Let me,
that's a kind of a
I'm
separate
going to
issue.
bring it. I'm going to bring it for
But
you.
let me just I'll move on, because I think other people did leave questions in there, and we've been going 2 hours. So
Okay,
let me see if
wait,
there's.
just I read for you fast, okay, very fast.
Go
Chapter
ahead. Go ahead.
49, chapter 49, verse 13. It says, "O mankind." It doesn't say, "O Muslim." "O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female, and made you people and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing, all aware." So this is not about Muslim. This is about all mankind.
Which
So
verse was
if
that?
you're chapter 49, verse 13, okay?
49:13.
So
Let's have a look.
yes, yes. So it says mankind. It doesn't say all believers. It doesn't say all Muslims, okay? And let me bring
Yeah, but
the,
how does that? Wait a second. I've just read that verse back to myself. That's not saying that atheists are part of the righteous people. It's saying you're created that way. And bearing in mind that the traditional narrative is that you are created believing in God anyway, with the innate
no,
fitra.
That's that's
So
that's that's trash. Okay, I just say that's trash. You are not created to believe. Okay, we are just created like animals. I say we are created animals, but we learn to live human being, live like a human being and die like a human being, or live like a animal and die like an animal. So the one
sure.
who live like a human being will be rewarded, and the one who live like an animal will be punished.
Well,
Okay.
this is the thing, because I think what this verse is saying when I read it is basically saying that out of all of Allah's creations, whether that be humans, jinn, animals, plants, the humankind is the most kind of noble. But that doesn't mean that the humans can't, like you say, act like animals and therefore fall out of the righteousness. And one of those things that makes you fall out is being a disbeliever.
No, no. Okay,
It's the main one by
okay.
tradition.
This is a very deep, another one. This is a very deep discussion. Okay, we maybe don't want to go in that deep discussion.
Okay, fair
Three,
enough. Fair enough.
okay, 321. 321 says this is the one I said about whoever, and scholars who say that those who got message, good scholars, yeah, got the message or didn't get the message and didn't understand it, if they got it. Chapter 3, verse 21. Those who commit kufr against the signs of Allah and kill the prophets without right, and kill those who orders justice from among the people. Actually, it's not justice here, is qist in Arabic, which is interpreted as equality. Okay, those who orders equality or spread equality, give them tiding of a painful punishment.
Does
So
it say
Allah,
equality? Sorry, which verse is this you're reading from?
it's chapter 3, verse 21.
321.
Yes.
Let's have a look.
So here they have rendered it as ordered justice, but in
Yeah, it doesn't
Arabic,
say equality. Again,
no,
see,
in
these word
Arabic,
changes are important though,
okay,
Luke,
no,
because
look, no, I tell you, in Arabic says those who spread qist. Okay, qist is rendered by some people equality. Okay, and
not the
this,
Quran. The Quran doesn't seem to be rendered that way.
no, Quran says qist. Okay, but
Justice.
we interpret it as equality. Okay, so this is interpretation, and I have heard also others who render it as equality. Okay, so anyway, so
But it doesn't appear in any of the typical translations as equality, does it?
oh, I
So
understand. I understand. Yes, but anyway, so this is about those. It's not about Muslims. It's about those. Those can be anyone who spread. Okay, let's take it as justice. Those who spread the message of justice or spread justice. If they get killed, like I gave example of Ernesto Che Guevara, so they will be those who kill them is as if as they have killed a prophet of God. So they are in the rank of prophets
yeah.
of God. Okay.
But I think you would find that, considering the channel I have, which is directly okay, I focus mostly at the moment on the people like Mohammed Hijab and Hakichu, who we would both dislike. But my general message is that I'm an anti-theist, I suppose. At the end of the day, I think religion overall does more harm than good, and I
Okay.
don't think it's true. And I would want to see not just Islam. I mean, I'd want to see the world about all religions, but particularly I find the most problematic one today is Islam. I actively would like to see Islam not exist. Now, I'm not
Okay.
saying that I would do that in any kind of violent way. I'm just talking about discussion,
Yes.
persuading people in a
Okay.
civilized
But
way.
how about sorry? How about the way? I mean, the Islam that I want to spread. Do you want to also that one
I would,
disappear?
yeah. Well, as I said, I would certainly have much less problem if the majority of Muslims genuinely believed the way that you're
Okay.
interpreting it. I would have much less of a problem with it. I
It's
still,
not going to harm you anyway.
well,
Am I right?
I personally still think there is inherent harm in believing things which have no good reason to believe in them. I don't think that's a good way to base a society on. But yes, I would agree that I would be far less motivated to be against a set of doctrine if it was interpreted in the way that you do. But the problem is, and actually this relates to a question which I'm going to read from the chat. Somebody was saying, how likely do you think it is that Muslims are going to come around to your way of interpreting things? Because you really are in a small minority. So do you think it's likely your version is ever going to, become mainstream?
I said it from beginning that it will become the mainstream. Yeah, definitely. By the way, I put right now. I shared the link about a video about who is a kafir. Okay, for those who would like to know. I don't know if it came or not, but I put it on. Okay,
Was that in the
maybe
private chat?
I put it in the main chat. Okay, so
All
this
right.
is also made by Brother Rashid. Okay, I will put it in the private chat also. You can maybe
Okay.
appreciate it, share it also, because it is with all verses of Quran that talking about.
But Muji, why do you believe that your version of Islam will become mainstream just because that's how you interpret the Quran is going to say that it's going to happen that way? Or do you have any
Okay,
practical? Because if you're honest, if you look at the world now, I'd be surprised if more than 0.5% of the world's Muslims would interpret the way you do. So
all
how
right.
is that going to change in a
Yes,
practical measure?
yes, in a practical, yes, and drastic. Unfortunately, big powers who love the what is it, the terrorism, extremism in the Middle East, because they sell a lot of amount of weapons to the Middle East and so on. They don't want this Islam to be the main. That's why they have been trying to stop us through different measures. But we will bring down the regime in Iran, and we will take over. And there was for example, there was a parliamentarian from Jordan and she met my leader. She's a woman as well, and she said to that leader that when you take the power in Iran, it's not only women in Iran who get their equal right. The entire Middle East women stand up for the equal rights. Yes, there will be. We will change the mainstream, and unfortunately, there are dark powers who try to stop us because they don't want
Yeah,
this peaceful,
but
loving Islam. Okay,
but
so
but but but
this is
but Muji, Muji,
yes, yes.
you know, these dark powers, whatever you're alluding to, this has been the mainstream interpretation of Islam through all Islamic history. So you can't say these dark powers are the reason why this is the mainstream interpretation. Okay, this goes
No,
back
I
to
didn't say no.
the early
My brother,
days.
no, I didn't say. I said that you said, will it be? I say they have been trying to stop us now. For example, 57 years ago, they were just three who interpreted Quran in this way, three people. Now we are millions, okay?
You
And
think
we
there are
will be.
millions of Muslims who interpret it the way you do?
Yes, yes, there are millions, and we have what is it? I showed you the city there, and we can. Unfortunately, many of them are inside Iran and they cannot show themselves. But I could show you videos that we are a lot of people, and we will become much, much more. But after the regime fall, people will know us, and yes, people. There will be a great change in the Middle East very soon. Okay, and like the Arab Spring. You remember the Arab Spring, yeah? So like the Arab Spring, it will spread the entire Middle East. Yeah, this democracy, this.
Yeah, but the Arab
Uh,
Spring was crushed, wasn't it?
I
Big time.
know, I know, I know. But the thing is that what I'm saying is that how vast it spread. Yeah, how it was spreading
No,
so fast.
it was impressive. I
Yeah,
agree,
yeah,
but there were many
yes.
secular forces also that were
I
spreading
know.
that.
I
This
understand.
wasn't just about
What I'm
Islam.
saying, no, no. What I'm saying is that it influenced, yeah, thing,
Sure.
one place influenced the entire Middle East. So, and then, for example, 1952, when we had a democratic elected prime minister, it influenced Egypt. Abdul Nasser came to power as well, okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so on. So it will spread in the entire Middle East, and I hope that it happens very soon. We are hoping that it will happen very soon. Yes.
Well, I mean, as I say, I would certainly think it would be a better world if your interpretation was, but I don't really hear any practical answers to that other than just it's your wish, your hope. It's my wish and my hope as well. I would say that I would
I
share.
showed you the video, my brother. I showed you the video. There are people, they are practicing it.
There are people, but millions. I very much doubt that.
I
I
said
believe.
millions. Yes, I said millions. If the regime falls, you will see it. Okay, and we, for example, one of
Well,
the
we're not just
interpretation.
talking about Iran. We're talking about Muslims
No,
all over the world. I mean, I've
no, but
spoken probably at this point to thousands of Muslims, and I
I
reckon I've
know.
spoken to probably three people like you out of those
Yes.
thousands.
Look, I'm saying that it doesn't have to be everywhere at once. Yeah, it start from one place and it spread other places as well. Yeah, and I said, for example, those wrong interpretation says that women are they are stupid. They have their brain is half a man. They have to stay home like this Daniel ISIS Jew. Okay, I call him Daniel ISIS Jew, but my organization, we say women are exactly, absolutely equal to men, and they are leaders. They are leading the revolution against Iranian regime and so on.
Well, it's good to
So
hear, and believe me, I wish them all the luck in the world.
thank
As
you.
I say, there's nothing I would want more than women to
Mhm,
be able to get their equal rights,
mhm,
across the Muslim world. I'm
mhm.
wishing it and seeing it happen are two different things, though. So,
Okay.
but anyways, I think at this point, unless there's any particular other points you want to talk about, I might start to wrap up. So if anybody has any other
Yes.
questions, I'm sorry if I've missed questions. I've kind of been going back and forth to see if there's any think I've missed. But if anyone wants to ask any last minute, last questions to Muji, please do. Muji, is there anything else that you wanted to sort of talk about before we
No,
wrap up?
I just say that it was very nice talking to you, and I wish that we can talk. Anybody has more questions? I go live every Saturdays, so you are welcome. And mostly, I need people who help me fighting these extremists. So if anybody is a fighter, I want that you, because they block me, you can call them and ask them, force them to, to debate me.
Well, I can't see anybody.
if they are fighters.
Well,
Yeah,
no, it's not that. It's just that if they blocked you, they blocked you. I mean,
yeah. I mean that
Hamza did
they
it. Hamza
yes,
did invite me onto his live stream, but I refused to go because I just think it's a dishonest play. You know, it's not like here where we can just talk and have a free exchange.
I
They
understand.
manipulate things, but I mean, look, I'm not trying to make this like a snarky comment here, but somebody has says there's millions of people who follow your interpretation, but you've only got a few hundred subscribers. So
Okay, I didn't say that they follow my interpretation. Okay, I said that my organization interpret the Quran the way I also interpret it, and they have. I showed you the video.
okay,
Okay,
they share the same interpretation as
yes,
you.
they share the same interpretation exactly, and they are mostly Iranian. My channel is English language. Okay, so if it was Persian language, perhaps they would. Yeah,
But
they
what
would.
about all the Muslims in the English-speaking world, in my country, in America, New Zealand,
Yes, yes.
all these different places? Where are all the Muslims who interpret it the way that you do? Where are all these people? Because I honestly, Muji,
I know.
I so rarely hear anybody who talks about Islam the way you do.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, for example, I know a brother. Hello. I
I'm
heard
still
some.
here. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It was something else then. I heard something came up
No, I'm
on my
still here.
computer. Anyway, yes, brother Rashid. He's from Denmark. He interpreted it the same way, and his channel. And then there is another brother Khalid, Quranic Islam. Also, he has a channel with several thousand subscribers. There is this Mufti uh, Mufti Light something. I have forgotten his. He also has I don't know, tens of thousands of subscribers, and he also has good interpretation of Quran. So there are people. I know that we are not so famous now, but it is the beginning. Okay. But you have to just be patient. Yeah, you have to be just patient. It will grow.
Well,
Mufti Abu Light, yes. Mufti Abu Light, yes. Mufti Abu Light.
okay. Mufti Abu Laith, he has the same interpret or similar interpretation to
Yeah,
you.
similar. He's also good. I mean, open-minded, and he rejects these stupid interpretations of, for example, so many fabricated hadiths as well. I don't know everything he says, but I think that he has also some good interpretation. Yes.
Okay.
Wasn't he attacked? Yes, he was. I think he was attacked. Yeah, a few years ago, or not even a few years ago, for his moderate views, thoughts. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
I know
All
that
right.
these extremists are everywhere. Yes,
Yeah. I
unfortunately.
mean, see, I suppose to wrap up, I think yes, it
Yes.
would
Okay.
certainly be nice if your interpretation was the mainstream. It would be nice, but I
Yeah.
think ultimately, I think it is a tiny minority, and I think the vast majority have some kind of orthodox
Mm-hmm.
version which acknowledges
Okay.
these violent verses, etc., are as they are. They seem to appear plainly in the Quran. I'm not
Yes.
persuaded by these reinterpretations, but at the same time, I do think that you believe them sincerely. So I
Oh,
credit
thank you
and
very much.
I credit you for challenging the likes of Nadir Ahmed
Mm-hmm.
and these other kind of Dawa types who are
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
spreading an ideology which we would both disagree with. So
Oh yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say yeah. So I'd like to thank you a great
Thank
deal.
you very much, my brother. Thank you for inviting me. It
I
was a
think it's
great.
been an interesting conversation, and it was
Yes.
nice and civilized, which is good.
Yes. Yeah. Very
Thank
good.
you,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone in the chat who's asked questions and has
Yes.
listened along. Muji, if you just to say, publicly, if you want to put any of this conversation up on your channel, then please do. Obviously, you have
Yeah.
my
Yeah. I will. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
and yeah, if you want to talk again, I'd be happy to do
Yes,
that. So,
of course. Thank you, my brother. And anybody has, as I said, for the question, every Saturday, 7 p.m. Central European time, I go live. You are welcome. We always have Christian, atheists, they call in, and we have great conversation and
and even
talk.
Nadir Ahmed, turns
Yes,
up
even
sometimes.
Nadir Ahmed, he was insulting me, and I didn't,
He was very
remove
rude,
him.
wasn't he? I
Yeah,
watched that.
very
He was
rude.
very
Yes,
rude.
yeah. very rude. I didn't remove him. I let him to say. People can decide. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, my brother.
All right. Well, I hope you feel you've been treated fairly here anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yes. No, no, absolutely. Thank you, my brother. Take care.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to close the live stream. Thanks, everyone. And I'll
Thank
see
you.
you in my next video. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.